Sanjay, do you think estate agents are entrepreneurial?
I think there's an element of entrepreneurial estate agents and business owners within the industry. Equally, there's a lot that I would class as order takers.
Yes.
And this market we're in now, it's not going to be a market for order takers.
So, why do you think the majority of estate agents aren't entrepreneurial? Do you think that's because it's the type of person the industry attracts? Because we're good salespeople.
No, I think there's a number of issues. I think one of them is potentially inherited businesses where, the parents might have been in it 40 years ago
Yes.
and they've taken over. I think the other one is some don't want to have their own businesses or don't want to expand because they've had a successful business.
Do you think they fear something?
Yeah, absolutely. They fear the unknown and the making the change.
So, you're an entrepreneur. You basically set up your own business. I set up mine 5 years ago. Why? What do you think holds people back to make that jump, that change, that first
Well,
step?
there's two things. One is the know-how, and two, the fear of, they haven't got the money, it's not the right time. It's all the noise around doing what you need to do. So maybe procrastination is another big thing.
Do you think people fear what other people will, fear of failure and looking a prat?
Yeah, absolutely. Just like videos. When you're talking about doing videos, people think, oh, well, someone's going to look at me and this, that, rather than just getting on with it. So that is a massive part.
What would you say to anyone who's sitting on the fence just waiting to make the jump?
It depends what jump they're going to be making. If they're going to be making a jump of opening a high street office, I would say you need to be very careful because personally, it's not something I'm doing. I did it 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I've actually closed the office because I learned that was just a non-cost in a market that wasn't right.
Yeah. So, in terms of, if someone is sitting on the fence and they fear that they're like in a valley or a branch manager and they want to make the change, would you be happy to pick up the phone to you and have a chat with you?
Yes, I think one of the number one common denominators, Chris, right, of this not happening is the lack of know-how. That's a big thing I notice in this industry.
Because you run like a mentoring program for people, but I do know for an awful lot of fact that you do actually help a lot of people at no cost with over the phone. What problems do you think most people have, and how have you helped them?
A lot of the problems are people are stuck. They've got a pain. That pain, they need an answer. It's a bit like you get a stomach ache. You might think, right, I'm going to go and see the doctor. He's going to prescribe, and I'm done.
Yes.
That's what we don't have in our industry. We've got a number of people. Stephen Brown, you mentioned, Matt Giggs, John Paul. This is a new breed of guys that are there helping one another. All right, I was with Matt Giggs and last week at your conference, and we were just having a chat. For me, there's not enough of it being done, as in the people themselves, the agents themselves. They're not seeking for help. They're not asking for help. And that's the thing that really, really, I can't get my head around.
And when they do have the help, they don't do anything about it.
They don't do anything about it. Well, that I think is always going to be the case. It's like conferences. I know when we've ran Sandfest and that, I've said on stage, 95% of the audience today will do nothing. 5% will actually go and implement. That's the way of the world, right? I think
that's an opportunity, isn't it? For people that actually do the action.
It is, but we're always still going to have a big element that aren't going to do it, and that's because, as we said, procrastination, fear of change. The only way the one big thing that I'm trying to get across is people need to ask for help. People need to get into mastermind groups or get a mentor. Athletes and football clubs. If you look at the backroom staff now, very different from 20 years ago. All right, because they've realised that they've got to have specialists in all these different fields: psychologists, mindset, coaches.
Isn't that a British squeakness though? Just to feel that they need a coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then what about those people that can't afford a coach?
Sometimes, you know what, it doesn't cost anything. We've all got mobile phones. We've got hundreds of minutes on them phones free. pick the phone up. People don't do that because, as you said, it's that British disease of embarrassment. But we need to start getting over embarrassment.
Well, I've got a Facebook group with 1,400 people in it, and how often do I keep saying, pick the phone up to me and talk to me?
Absolutely.
And
I have, and that's why I'm here. I've took the opportunity, and and I think it's like Tom Panos, Tom Ferry, all of these people say, right? It's not rocket science. If you surround yourself with like-minded people, you're going to get those kind of results.
I mean, I certainly would recommend anyone, even if they can't afford anyone, and even if they don't want to pick up the phone to the likes of you, myself, or Matt Giggs, or Stephen Brown, is if you've got a friend in the family who you look up to, why don't you talk to them and meet them for a cup of coffee every 4 or 6 weeks and talk to them?
The thing is, for me, Chris,
accountability.
It's not about cost. And I think when people start talking, I get calls, how much do you charge in that? And to be fair, I don't really want to work with people that are going to say how much does it cost, because already it's a cost issue. It's not a benefit. Okay, I've told people last year I spent £150,000 in self-development. People go, "Are you crazy?" It depends whether that's worth anything to you.
It depends if it's a cost or an investment.
Well, absolutely, but I know I'm already reaping the benefits of that investment, and I'm sure most entrepreneurs. Not overnight. Nothing's overnight. Nothing is overnight. It's all the long game, but it's about your mindset. If it's all about cost, it's like if you're going to go to the gym today, you're going to get a personal trainer. You're not going to have muscles and biceps tomorrow. No. That's going to be over time. So it's whether you're prepared to be in it for the long term.
Maybe we could talk about that in the next video, mate.